There's something powerful about silence. In a world that constantly demands your opinion, your reaction, your validation, silence feels like rebellion. But it's more than that, it's wisdom. When you stay silent, you learn to listen, you learn to watch, and in those moments, the universe whispers answers you couldn't hear in all the noise. I've learned that not everything needs a reaction. Sometimes the strongest voice is the one that chooses not to speak at all. Silence isn't weakness, it's strength under control. It's choosing peace over chaos, clarity over confusion. When you stop forcing outcomes, when you stop trying to control every step of the journey, life has this incredible way of unfolding naturally. Think about it, nature doesn't rush, yet everything is accomplished. The sun rises, the seasons change, flowers bloom, rivers flow, all in their own time. The same is true for us. When we trust the process and hold our silence, we allow life to align in ways far greater than our plans. Silence teaches you patience. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you to value your energy and protect it. Not everyone deserves your words. Not every situation requires your explanation. Sometimes silence becomes your loudest statement, and the world hears it more clearly than your voice ever could. But staying silent doesn't mean staying still. It means moving with purpose, choosing your battles, and reserving your words for when they truly matter. When you do speak, your voice carries weight because it isn't wasted. So, the next time you feel pressure to react, to prove, to explain, pause, stay silent, let your silence become your power. Because when you trust the timing of your life, when you let things come naturally, you'll realize you never had to chase what was already meant for you. Silence has often been misunderstood as a sign of weakness, as if the one who doesn't respond immediately or loudly is somehow less powerful, less confident, less in control. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Silence is not weakness, it is controlled strength, a strength that speaks louder than words ever could. In silence, there is a discipline, a conscious choice to withhold when everything around you demands an outburst, a reaction, a response. It takes far more courage to remain silent than it does to speak in anger or frustration. Anyone can raise their voice, but it takes inner mastery to hold it back, to sit with your thoughts, to allow the moment to pass without letting it disturb the ground you stand on. Think about how the most powerful forces in life operate. A seed does not shout as it grows into a tree. The ocean does not announce every wave that touches the shore. And the stars do not call attention to themselves when they light up the night sky. Their presence is undeniable, their strength unquestionable, yet they move in silence. That is the beauty of controlled strength. It does not need constant validation. Silence carries dignity, and dignity cannot be faked. It is felt. When you choose silence in the face of provocation, you are not surrendering, you are rising above. You are protecting your energy, refusing to engage in battles that add no value to your journey. Silence has the power to disarm conflict. Arguments thrive on reactions, but when you stay silent, you stop feeding the fire. Your stillness unsettles those who expect chaos because silence cannot be argued with. It is undeniable. It is impenetrable. And in that silence, you hold the upper hand. Not because you proved yourself right with words, but because you showed yourself strong enough to not need them. That is controlled strength, and people can feel it, even if they can't always understand it. But silence is not only about others. It is also about you. It is about the relationship you build with yourself. When you stay silent, you give yourself space to breathe, to observe, to listen to the whispers of your own intuition. In silence, you hear what the noise of the world drowns out. You notice details you might have overlooked, and those details often carry the answers you were chasing outside yourself. Silence connects you with clarity, and clarity is where true confidence comes from. Confidence is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It is about knowing that your voice carries weight even when unspoken. Controlled silence also reshapes the way people see you. They begin to realize that your words are not cheap, that they cannot pull you into every passing storm. They start to recognize that when you do speak, it matters. Your silence creates value for your words because it becomes clear that you don't waste them. You are not desperate to prove yourself, you are content in your strength. This kind of presence demands respect even from those who may not agree with you. Life often pushes us into situations where our first instinct is to react. Someone criticizes us unfairly, someone tests our patience, someone underestimates us. The temptation to lash out is strong, but that is where silence shows its power. To remain calm when everything inside you wants to explode is a sign of mastery. It is not about suppressing your emotions, but about guiding them, choosing not to let them dictate your actions. Silence allows you to take the high road, to choose peace over unnecessary conflict, to show that your strength does not depend on anyone else's approval or recognition. There is a reason why silence is described as golden. It is rare, valuable, and timeless. The world today is full of noise, voices competing, opinions clashing, egos demanding attention. In that environment, silence becomes even more powerful because it stands out. It is not passive, it is intentional. It is not absence, it is presence in its purest form. Controlled silence draws people in because they sense there is depth behind it. They know that silence does not come from emptiness, but from fullness, from someone who doesn't need to announce their worth to be seen. The strongest leaders, the most impactful personalities, are not those who speak endlessly, but those who know the weight of silence. They understand when to hold back, when to let silence carry the message, and when to break it with words that matter. Their silence creates anticipation, and anticipation creates influence. The lesson here is simple yet profound. You do not need to prove your power with constant words. Your silence already proves it. Silence is a form of self-control, and self-control is one of the greatest indicators of strength. When you can master your voice, you can master your mind. And when you master your mind, you can master your life. This is why silence is not weakness. It is discipline. It is maturity. It is strength wrapped in grace. It shows that you are not moved by every wave that comes your way, but that you choose when and how to sail forward. The beauty of controlled silence is that it allows everything else to reveal itself. Truth needs no defense. It eventually rises on its own. Lies collapse under their own weight when you don't feed them. Chaos burns itself out when you don't fuel it. By staying silent, you give space for what is real to surface naturally, and that is the ultimate strength. Because in silence, you are not trying to control the world. You are mastering yourself, and in mastering yourself, you show a strength that words could never capture. When you stop forcing outcomes, life aligns itself naturally in your favor. This may sound simple, but in reality, it's one of the hardest lessons to embrace because we are conditioned to push, to chase, to control. We are told that if we don't fight for every inch, we will lose everything. But the truth is, some of the most beautiful things in life come when we release that constant need to force and allow life to unfold in its own rhythm. There is a fine balance between working hard and forcing outcomes, and once you discover that balance, you step into a freedom that few people ever experience. Forcing outcomes comes from fear. It comes from the belief that if you don't control every step, everything will collapse. But fear blinds us. It makes us cling to things that are not meant for us. It makes us chase opportunities that do not belong to us. And it makes us ignore the doors that are quietly opening because we are too busy banging on the wrong ones. When you stop forcing, you are not giving up. You are creating space. You are allowing the right opportunities, the right people, the right timing to align with your path. Think about water. If you try to grab it too tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you let it flow, it finds its own way, smoothly, naturally, effortlessly. Life works in the same way. The harder you grip, the more resistance you create. The more you trust, the more things begin to flow. It doesn't mean you stop working or striving. It means you learn to do your best and then release the outcome. It means you recognize that what is truly yours cannot be taken away, and what isn't yours will never stay no matter how hard you fight to keep it. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life come when you step back. There are moments when you have done all you can, and pushing further only brings exhaustion, frustration, and disappointment. But the moment you breathe, let go, and trust, something shifts. New opportunities reveal themselves, unexpected solutions appear, and doors open that you never knew existed. Life has a way of aligning things in your favor when you stop trying to control every detail. There's also a beauty in patience that comes with not forcing outcomes. Patience allows you to grow into the person you need to be for what you desire. Sometimes the delay is not denial, it's preparation. Life is not punishing you by making you wait, it's shaping you, strengthening you, refining you so that when the right moment arrives, you are ready for it. If everything happened on your timeline, you would miss out on the growth that comes from the waiting. And you might even sabotage the very blessings you were given. When you stop forcing, you also begin to notice alignment in ways you didn't see before. You start to recognize synchronicities, little signs, small connections, subtle nudges that guide you toward where you're supposed to be. These things were always there, but your obsession with controlling outcomes blinded you to them. Silence, trust, and patience reveal them. Suddenly, you begin to see that life is not random, it is deeply intentional. And the more you flow with it instead of against it, the more it rewards you. Forcing outcomes also drains your spirit. It keeps you in a constant state of stress, worry, and dissatisfaction because nothing ever feels enough. But when you release that force, you find peace. You realize that your worth is not measured by how hard you push, but by how gracefully you align with what belongs to you. This shift doesn't make you passive, it makes you powerful in a different way. It frees your energy to focus on growth, on creativity, on becoming instead of obsessing over controlling. And in that state, you naturally attract what is right for you because your energy is no longer desperate or fearful. It is calm, open, and receptive. Look at nature again for lessons. Trees don't force themselves to grow overnight. They root deeply, they expand slowly, and in time, they stand tall and unshakable. Flowers don't bloom by tearing their petals open. They unfold naturally when the season is right. The ocean doesn't push every wave to the shore at once. It flows with rhythm and balance. Everything in creation has its own timing, and none of it is forced. Why then do we believe that forcing our lives will bring us more? When you let go of forcing outcomes, you also let go of comparison. You stop measuring your life against others because you begin to understand that your timing is different, your journey is unique, and your blessings are tailored for you. Comparison only feeds the urge to force. Seeing someone else succeed makes you want to push harder, even if the path you're pushing isn't yours. But when you trust that your path is unfolding as it should, you celebrate others without envy because their success doesn't threaten yours. It simply reminds you that your time is also coming. This way of living is not passive. It requires courage. It takes strength to release control, to trust timing, to surrender the need to have all the answers right now. But in that surrender lies power. You stop fighting against the current and you let the river carry you. You stop trying to manipulate outcomes and you let life surprise you. And those surprises are often far greater than anything you could have forced into existence. The art of not forcing is really the art of trusting. Trusting that your efforts matter, trusting that your growth is leading somewhere, trusting that even setbacks are setups for something bigger. And when you live with that trust, you discover a quiet confidence that nothing can shake. You stop worrying about every detail and you start flowing with faith. That's when alignment happens. That's when opportunities that fit perfectly into your life appear as if out of nowhere. That's when people who resonate with your soul find their way to you. That's when your life unfolds in a rhythm that feels right, not rushed. Because when you stop forcing outcomes, you don't lose control. You find alignment, you don't settle, you rise higher. You don't get less, you receive exactly what was meant for you at the right time, in the right way. And in that alignment, you realize that life was always working in your favor. You just had to step out of the way long enough to let it.